Good day, Brittle Planet listeners. This is Eric Peterson, quarantining from Salt Lake City today. And today I'm honored to be joined by the mighty Hulkoff. How are you doing today, Hulkoff?
I'm doing great, brother. Thanks for asking.
Good. Where are you joining us from today?
Well, I'm sitting here close to the Arctic Circle in the north of Sweden.
Nice. That seems like a pretty good place to be considering all that's going on right now.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty good place to be no matter what's going on because life doesn't really change that much. It's always the same. The sun rises and the animals are out there, good hunting.
Nice. And So before we start today, I just want to say that there'll be much butchering of words today because I'm not Swedish. I'm Swedish by heritage, but I don't know the Swedish language. So I apologize to everybody for the butchering of words today.
No worries, bro.
So if you could help me, that would be great.
Yeah, sure.
So when I was first introduced to you by our mutual friend Toby England, and you were on his solo album singing the song Viking, and from that point on, I discovered you and your other projects, the Rabateur and Bourbon Boys, and I've just fallen in love with your music since then. So, how did you come about knowing Toby?
Well, I've known Toby for so long. I've known him since I was a little kid. He's from a neighboring village, and we used to do some rascal shit together when we were kids. So
Nice.
We've always been playing together in different constellations, always competing on who was the fastest on the guitar, and stuff like that. The reason he joined Sabaton was because Pat from Sabaton called me and asked if I know any dude who would fit in, and I had the perfect match. Toby is one of the greatest.
Nice. And so I talked to Toby before the interview, and he had one question he wanted me to ask you, and he said,
okay.
He said, ask him who the hell is Rex Talon? Talon?
Tell him to go fuck himself. That's my answer.
Oh. So, and when you and I met, we talked at the 2018 Sabaton Open Air, and you were promoting your first solo album. How was the reception to that album?
Yeah. Well, it's been great. It sold out all the physical copies, So I don't know if we're gonna press another round or not, but probably have to. I mean, it's growing all the time. It takes a little time to introduce a new project onto the market, and you just gotta stay consistent and keep on doing what you're doing, and eventually, it will start working. So I'm very pleased with that album, considering everything that surrounded the recording of that album and the stressful time that I was going through, and I'm really happy with the outcome.
Good. So one of my favorite things about when I listen to your music and is that I get to jam to great metal, and I'm also introduced to Swedish history of my ancestors. What made you decide to do that type of music? Well,
I've always been really, really interested in history, and of course, this particular history that affects me and my ancestors and all that stuff. It also affects a lot of other people around the world, and the Viking heritage is it's a pretty big thing. But with the other bands, like Raubtier, for example, that's more contemporary music. The lyrics are not really that rooted in history.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when we're doing country rock with Bourbon Boys. That's something else. It's not really a great time to sing about the old gods and stuff like that. But this project was given life just because of that. To have that forum for all the history inspired stuff.
Nice.
So because I've been reading so much history all the time, and there's a lot of really cool stories and interesting things that are left untold,
Nice. So the new album is coming out on September 25th, and it's called Pansarfolk.
Pansarfolk, yeah,
Pansarfolk.
That's like Panzer is the same as the German word Panzer, or the American word armor, I believe.
Okay.
Armor in a tank.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So the album is being released in both Swedish and English. So
Yes, it is.
I'm curious, were the songs written in Swedish and then converted to English, or vice versa?
Both ways. Some were written in Swedish first, some were written in English first. Like, for example, that tune, there's one tune called Hildesvin. So it was originally titled Hogs of War, from... and written in English, and the same thing with that tune, Over Dead Man. That was also written in English first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find when you're writing in one and converting to another and tweaking that you have to adjust it because of the flow lyrically?
Absolutely.
Oh, dear.
That was a really painstaking endeavor, making this album in 2 languages, because lyrics are really important to me, and I don't want to compromise. I never want to compromise. But, you can only put so much time into writing lyrics before that deadline comes knocking on your door,
Exactly.
And, yeah. But I'm pleased with it. I'm pretty pleased with most of the album. Some translations could, of course, have been better, but and that goes both ways, so to speak.
Nice. And I think when the people have listened to a few of the singles here, they've got an idea that the violin plays a major part in the album, and it really adds to the intensity of the album. Tell us about who played on your album and how you feel about the addition of the orchestration added to the album.
Well, first of all, all the violin parts are played by this man named Thomas von Wackenfeldt. Uh-huh. He is a professor in music, He's a really, how to speak, how to say it, he really knows. He really knows his shit, He's very, very into the Swedish folk music, and he's been doing that for all of his life, He's a demon on that fiddle. And he's taking a really big role in this project, because the violin adds so much of that folk flavor,
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what else I was going to say. Probably some bullshit anyway. but I just want to put a lot of weight into that. His participation has been crucial for making this album sound the way it does. We were after that really earthy sound, where it doesn't sound like this super modern computerized production. We wanted to take it back a few steps and make it sound like a band playing together with folk musicians. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
I love it because, like I said, it adds to the intensity of the music, I feel, and it gives it that little extra like zing that makes you go, wow, that's really good. It adds an extra element into the album. Absolutely,
yeah. And just to keep on talking about the guys included on this album, on the drums, of course, Anders Johansson, the old Yngwie Malmsteen, Hammerfall, Manowar drummer. He's one of a kind. It's an honor to have him on board again.
Yes.
Because we've become close friends over the years, and it's just great fun to have him there. And his son Carl is playing the bass. He's also a fantastic musician. He will have a super golden career in the future.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice.
Then we have some people, Mattias Gyllengaard from Utmarken, which is a band everybody should check out, because that's true folk metal. Really good stuff. He plays that nyckelharpa. There's no English translation to that word, but it means something like key harp.
Oh,
it's a special old Swedish instrument. He plays on almost every track. And we got this guy called Göran Månsson who plays the flute, and he's a world-known super musician. He's just amazing. And what else can I say? Yeah, the mix and the post-production and the mix is done by Jonas Kjellgren, as usual, and he's number one.
Nice.
He really found that nerve, that earthy vibe that we were after. So the final result came out really great.
So you mentioned the other instrument, and I'm not even gonna try because I don't want to butcher that one. How did you discover that? And is it featured on all the songs, or just I remember hearing it on Ingvar?
Yeah, all right. That instrument is another one. The one I'm playing myself. That's the one that's called the horse's hair lyre. and that's a really, really the oldest, I guess, string instrument that has been found. You know, it's been around for a long, long time, since the Bronze Age here in Scandinavia. I don't know how old it is, but it's a really, really interesting, a special thing. It's a non-tempered instrument, and it's really a bitch to play, you know. But it's great fun, you know, and it adds that arcane feeling to it all.
Yes, it does. And I watched some videos of you on Facebook, and did you actually teach yourself to play the instrument?
Yeah, I did. I tuned it in fifths, you know, like you do a guitar, and then I played some power chords on it, and I started, you know, whipping the living shit out of that thing. It's been rough on both me and the lyre, you know.
Because I mean, what would the gods think of that? Is you just playing some power chords on that? That would be amazing. So,
yeah, well, you know, we gotta take the old stuff and bring it into the new world. Nice. That's how it is nowadays. There's a lot of inspiration to be found in the past. That's it sort of translates into playing on old instruments as well.
Exactly. So that's a good segue into the. I mean, we could talk about each story on the album because I feel like each song is a story in itself. I have a few that stick out to me, and I wanted to ask you about the inspiration behind them. I mean, the first one that I was like interested in was King Wada. Musically, it sounds that song sounds musically like The Devil Went Down to Georgia on steroids.
Yeah, well, that's not too far from the vision I had. You know, I listened to a lot of country music, and I love that. Yeah, you know, the musicianship, the pure virtuosity of the players, you know.
Yeah.
In Nashville, you can find some real top guns, you know.
Yes.
And The Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's a really cool too. But yeah, it was a little bit country inspired, and I'm actually playing that lick that starts out the whole tune. It's based on this banjo roll technique, you know. It's like a hybrid picking thing.
Oh, okay.
So it gives a little bit of a country vibe, but then, you know, there's a lot of thrash metal elements too, so it sort of morphs into this really weird hybrid thing between thrash metal and country and old Swedish folk music.
What's the story behind the King Wada?
Well, King Wada is that's an old legendary king of Helsingia land, you know, many hundred years ago. He's only mentioned in a few places, you know. It's in that great poem Vidsit, where you can find a lot of interesting stuff. Okay. There's also an old tale which I cannot at the moment translate into understandable English. But there is one of these old Nordic tales that is called Didrik's Saga, and that's also really interesting reading, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then going down to my next one, which was probably my favorite song lyrically and musically, is the song about the war pigs. The swine cult. Yes.
And that one is actually based on some findings that's been done, you know, where they realized that there were not only wolf warriors, the Ulfhednar, or not just berserkers, you know, but there was this third sort of warrior caste. And they were the Svinfylking, and they were inspired by the boar. You know, they got the power from the boar, which is not hard to understand when you think about it. I mean, a charging boar is that's no fun. They are pretty intense, you know.
That's a formidable enemy.
Yeah. Oh yes, it is. And the way they used to attack was one guy started running towards the enemy, and the other ones formed like an arrowhead, and they called this formation the Svinfylking.
Ah, okay. All right. So yeah. I actually got my shirt a couple of weeks ago that is depicted that on it, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
It's nice. So the last one I'm really curious about is probably, to me, one of the heavier songs on the album. Was it Olden?
Olden, yeah.
That song has a little bit of a Middle East sound to it. the guitar is very, very much what I expect from a Hulkoff song. What's kind of the history, and where were you going with that song?
Well, that song is something. It was one of the earliest songs I wrote for this album, and it was so interesting. You know, there are not many chords in that song. It's not a complex structure or anything like that. The cadences are pretty easy to understand, like most really old folk music is.
Yeah,
and that the vibe of that melody, you know, sort of reminded me of Eastern lands, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I've been reading a lot about how should I put it? I've been reading about when Odin came to Scandinavia, you know.
Okay.
That's a very, very special thing. There are a lot of theories around this, and I'm not saying this is how it is, but it could have been this way, you know. And that's what this tune is about. I won't say much more than that, but
okay.
But you can find a lot of connections to the Huns, you know, and to the old tribes of the Gobi Desert that used to exist a long time ago.
Okay, all right. Is there any songs on the album that you consider special to you for one reason or another?
Oh, yes. Most of them are very special to me. There's been so much work put into this, so no tune was left behind, so to speak. They all got the same kind of love. And that's the sad thing, you know. Every song should be a single, you know, and every song should be presented and given the same attention, but it's not possible, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, lyric-wise, there is this tune, Over Dead Man, which means a lot to me because it's a very personal song. And yeah, what else? I love that tune, the Lament of the Heftalite, because it has a really that's stuff that not a lot of people sing about, you know.
Yeah. So would you consider it fair to say that this album combines aspects of your other projects? For instance, like we talked about, or Lone Wolf. I mean, has that very Bourbon Boys sound to it?
Yeah, maybe. You know, it's just that I was playing so much guitar at the time. I was playing a lot of my old Martin, you know, and these licks came to me, you know, and that melody and everything. So yeah, we decided to make it kind of country sounding. I don't know really why, but that's what we did. And I like how it turned out. You know, it gives a little bit of fresh air to the album.
It does. And then what kind of, do you guys have any, you guys still, people can order the album and have it directly sent to their house, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just surf by the farawayrecordings.com and make an order, and we'll have it signed for you if you want.
Yes. And then you have some combos with T-shirts, correct?
Oh, yeah. That was the pre-package, so those combos are not available at the moment.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I mean, you can make your own combos, and we're pretty flexible, my man.
Nice. And then you are scheduled to be on the tour with Sabaton in Sweden next year. Have you toured?
Yes.
Have you toured with these guys before?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Many times for a lot of dates, long tours. You know, I've known these guys for a long time now. They're brothers of mine. So it's you know, it's just great fun to get out there again if it happens. You know.
Yeah. I mean, who knows if it'll happen or not? But I mean, regardless, I think at some point it will. Whether or not it's on the scheduled time or it has to be bumped back a little bit. But
yeah, but that's what we kind of agreed on, me and Pat. You know, that if we can't do it now, we'll just keep pushing the dates until we can. You know, we will never surrender. Sooner or later, we will get out there and do that tour and play those songs live.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I can't think of a better Swedish double attack than you guys, you and Sabaton. I mean, you guys are, to me, kind of the historians of metal music.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they've been doing this history stuff for a long time, and that's sort of their trademark. I wouldn't, you know, claim to be on the same territory. I do a little bit of different stuff. This is a little more, how should I put it? I have a little more.
You go deeper.
It's yeah. You know, it's a little more profane, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or maybe not yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
it goes deeper. Yeah,
I feel like you take it deeper, and you talk about stuff that is more about the history of Sweden and the tribes of Sweden. I mean, some of the songs from your first album. I mean, I love the songs about the longboards and that kind of stuff. Those are great songs that people should, whether they're Swedish or not, should learn about, because the Swedish Empire had a great influence in the world long before the rest of the world even knew about it.
Yeah, of course. But most of my tunes are about the time before Sweden was even Sweden.
Exactly.
We're just tribes, and these tribes have wound up in a lot of strange places over the years.
Exactly.
So I mean, it affects more or less everybody. And I'm a little bit lost for words here, but I'm trying to say that I am also trying to express a feeling, kind of trying to catch the soul of the people. If
exactly.
You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. And so that's why I would encourage everybody to go out and buy this new album when it comes out, because you'll be able to buy it streaming, correct? You'll be able to buy it on iTunes, Spotify, and all that?
Absolutely, on every streaming platform, and also physical copies for those who want that. It's a little problematic with the distribution in America for physical albums, but, I understand it's a bit difficult to order them from here as well, because that shipping cost is insane, but there's really not much we can do about it.
Well, I will say that I ordered the shirt, and I got the shirt within 2 weeks. So, I mean, I don't think it's something that should deter people from doing it, because they very much should. So
yeah, I agree. Of course, it's great if people do it, but there's always a price to pay for everything.
Yeah, exactly. And we're supporting good music, and we're supporting independent music. So that's even more exciting about it.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that is 100% for fucking sure, is that it's independent, 100%, nothing else. We have no major cooperatives telling us what to do. We are free,
Yes. Well, Hulkoff, it's been amazing to talk to you, and I would encourage everybody to go pick up the new album on the 25th, whether you stream it or whether you get a physical copy, because you will be impressed by the sound of it.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for doing this interview, brother. It's great to have you as a brother and supporter,
Yes.
To everybody in America. I wish you the best. Quick recovery to anyone who's been affected,
My goal is to introduce Hulkoff to the United States, so that one day Hulkoff can come over to the United States and spread the Swedish love to all of the United States.